right, so last night I went to the show, and it was the final NOFX tour at the Cow Palace in Daly City, billed as their final San Francisco show. And here's my review of it. So, I was able to avoid paying parking by parking in the residential area, about less than a quarter mile from the event. I got there for the final 3 bands. There were like 8 bands total. The first 3 hours were beer samplings. I went ahead and skipped the beer samplings and the first 5 or so bands and just watched Lagwagon, the Circle Jerks, and NOFX's set, which all in all was about 4.5 hours. It was in a parking lot like old school Warped Tour shows that I used to go to, except instead of 20-year-olds, it was 40 and up, with some people bringing their kids. And before I went in, there were some people, the beer pourers from earlier in the day, I walked up to a group randomly in the parking lot and asked if they had a beer, because they were all having a beer, to which they gladly shared a beer with me, and we chatted and hung out for about 10 minutes. Then I heard Lagwagon coming on, so that's one of my favorite all-time bands, Joey Cape. So I watched their set, walked in, was in line during their first song, and watched the rest of their songs front and center. And it was still daylight at that point. Nice little crowd. Wasn't too hard to get up close to the stage. The members of the Circle Pit were probably pretty worn out by then, so it was a pretty mellow Circle Pit slam dance. So that was fun. They played really well. One of my favorite songs, Mr. Coffee, was on their set list, and several other good ones. They had about a 40-minute set. Next up was Keith Morris and Greg Hetson and the rest of the other two, whoever make up the Circle Jerks nowadays. An old guy, looks like a Grateful Dead member, and a young drummer. They were awesome. Saw them about a year ago, and they got a little bit more time on stage, maybe an hour 15, somewhere around there. They killed it. Keith Morris is the man. I'm ready to read his book. Been sitting on my shelf for about a year now too. My Damage. Same guy that helped write Do What You Want, the Bad Religion story, helped Keith Morris with that book. By help him, I think they mean write it all, interview the guys and write everything for them. So that was a good show. Circle Jerks, they're always pretty fucking sweet. It's actually my second time seeing them, because they didn't play all throughout the mid to late 80s, all throughout the 90s and 2000s and 2010s. They just finally now got back together for the retirement tour. That's been going on for about almost 2 years. And finally was NOFX. NOFX was sickety sick. Played a lot of songs from Wolves and Wolves Clothing. So Long and Thanks for All the Shoes. Those are the 2 highlighted albums. They didn't play them in their entirety, but that's what was on the bill. They played a few old ones, a few slow ones, a few fast ones. Fat Mike wore a kilt, so yeah, he was in a dress, but not a woman's dress. His hair was on point. Melvin, Hefe, Smelly. I saw Sharky on stage. She's a Gary and Dino listener. And they're fucking badass. They ended with The Decline, which you can't ask for more. One thing I didn't like was, for NOFX, it was really bunched up towards the front. So I only spent the first 3 or 4 songs up front. I was in the pit for like maybe the first or second song and actually fell down and my glasses fell off my face. My Bad Religion hat fell off my head. I got the glasses back, but not the hat. And that's fine. Glasses are a couple $100, hats 20. There's my girl watching me. I see her. She's spying on me.
Did you say you fell on your face?
Finishing up my review. So, yeah, there people in the pit were kind enough to help me up.
Oh my hell.
And,
that's when you know you're too old.
Please shut up. After that, I kind of stayed towards the middle of the mid-back of the crowd. Other complaint was the beer lines and merch lines were too long, except for when NOFX was on stage. Other than that, they were ungodly long. Same with the food lines, but I didn't need food. Ate before. As they're finishing up with the decline, for the horn, last minute of horn parts, I started walking out, stopped in a porta potty, and the porta potty pisser section was full of puke, so I got a nice puke-induced piss at the end. Overall, great show. I'll miss those guys.
I got too excited. Later. San Francisco, you ready to get some exercise?
One more pill to keep us safe. One more pill to keep us safe. One more pill to keep us safe. It's gotta be a better. Tough, get debt, pay the church and pay the rent. This is thing for the sin. Little face you keep on